Are we ready? Okay.
Yeah, I need about 40 seconds.
Okay. Are you sure we shouldn't just all gather around my laptop?
Yeah, I think yes. I'll move up closer and run and make a crowd out of it.
Okay, we're down to about 10 seconds. And got the mics up, right?
I'm going to take a couple flashing pictures of you, so don't mind that.
Okay.
Wave your arms around that. Express yourself.
Okay, you're live.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, the few of you that are here, for taking the time to listen to what I have to say. I'm glad to have the opportunity to be here and sort of spread the word for a project that I'm working on. The main question sort of that led up to this project is basically, where's the vision? And in Northeast Ohio, I think a lot of times we're lacking it. And this is sort of a project going on that's hopefully going to answer it. One of the problems is vision's kind of a loaded word. It always kind of implies visionaries and new cutting-edge ideas. I prefer to think about it as vision coming from individuals who see opportunities staring them in the face. And I have a feeling there are probably a lot of people at this conference who see things staring them in the face. And a lot of times vision involves things that are accessible and familiar, not necessarily exotic. And so the question is, what are the opportunities that are staring us in the face? And I'm specifically going to talk about one opportunity, which in Northeast Ohio involves building an economy around design. And I'm going to specifically talk about product design because my background is product design. I teach at the Cleveland Institute of Art. I run the industrial design program. But what I'm doing is I'm working on a project in collaboration with Cleveland State University, Cleveland Institute of Art, and the Civic Innovation Lab. And the project is called the District of Design. And kind of an overview of the current situation in Northeast Ohio is that the region is home to more than 40 consumer product brands, some of them recognized worldwide. That Northeast Ohio is what Ned Hill at Cleveland State, my partner in the project, referred to as a nebula of consumer product development capacity, but as a whole, it's less than the sum of the parts. The consumer product marketing and manufacturing industry relies on design to connect with its consumer, create brand experiences, and add value. And that we know part of the current situation is that Northeast Ohio lacks a vibrant design culture that enables companies to attract and retain top talent. And we believe that in order to foster global competitiveness, we need to leverage the regional expertise that we have in consumer product design, R&D, marketing, manufacturing, sales, and distribution. And that ultimately the goal of the project that we're working on is what we refer to as creating the Milan of the Midwest and establishing Cleveland and Northeast Ohio as the capital of consumer product development in the U.S. And this goes back to sort of staring at things that are right in front of you. The assets that we have, history. Victor Schreckengost is part of the legacy of consumer product development in the region, and he was a professor at the Cleveland Institute of Art. He was he started what is considered to be the first industrial design program in the country, and he's credited with having a $250 billion impact on the U.S. economy. Another asset that we have is talent. The program that I run is considered one of the best in the U.S., and at CIA we train some of the most sought-after talent in the industry. Another asset we have is regional expertise. I mentioned there are over 40 consumer product brands. Just of the companies on this list, KraftMaid is actually the largest cabinet manufacturer in the world. American Greetings is considered to have the largest creative studio in the world. So there's quite a bit of resources here relating to this kind of work. The current climate for design, consumers are paying for better design, and a lot of companies are finally investing in design because the demand is there. And then also, it's been a long time in coming, but there are certain organizations that are actually starting to track when companies use design well and invest in design. They're actually starting to track performance, stock market performance, things like that. And the Design Council UK actually tracks the FTSE performance for companies that use design well and those that don't. And the companies that use design well outperform those that don't by 200%. So underlying the idea of the Milan of the Midwest is creating a design and innovation culture. And that involves a number of things. One of them is improving design and innovation management through collaborative higher education programs. It's one of the reasons why we're working with Cleveland State, and we also work with CASE. We're talking about raising regional awareness through a design and innovation prize. And we're looking at tapping into regional talent and becoming more connected with K through 12 education to develop design and innovation programs. And then also the last piece of the puzzle was sort of to create an identifiable heart of the design community. We're calling that the District of Design. And that's, of the four things that we went into this looking at, the last one was sort of has become the focal point, has gained a lot of momentum. So what is the district? The concept is modeled after a place in Chicago called the Merchandise Mart. It's basically a place with permanent showrooms for companies all over the world to display their products. What we're talking about is taking that same concept and putting it on the street level, storefronts, and creating sort of a vibrant street life, really kind of, again, built around regional assets. The way that this would work is in consumer product development and the retail business. There are retail buyers, like for Target or Ace Hardware, that they travel around the country or the world looking for their product line. So what we're talking about here are showrooms where they could come into town, plan their product line, see what the company produces and what's available, and make purchases. And they purchase in the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, not the ones and twos. The area that we're talking about for the District of Design, it starts in the south around Prospect, moves up towards St. Clair, and then East 13th on the western end and East 36th on the eastern end. And the core of it is sort of around Playhouse Square. That's where the showrooms would be. But we've included a lot of real estate for the purposes of growing design studios and manufacturing companies. It turns out that as we defined the geography of it, and we sort of had strategies to include live workspaces because designers like to live in live workspaces, include media and Cleveland State and larger industrial spaces. So as we laid it out and then started to survey what was already there, it turned out that in that district that we kind of randomly defined, there were already 100 design-related companies employing 1,400 people. And when I say design-related, it's web design firms, graphic design, architecture, product design, photography studios. Another reason for the location is as the Silver Line is being built down Euclid Avenue, it will connect Public Square with University Circle, and that's really kind of connecting the talent pool with between Cleveland State, CASE, the Cleveland Institute of Art. So we're really kind of building this around the idea that we're going to have students moving back and forth, professionals moving back and forth to access the resources that the city has available. We're trying to make it as walkable as possible. So more than half of the district that we've defined is within a 5-minute walk of the new Silver Line, which is actually scheduled to be finished in 2008. And overall, what we're talking about in terms of an experience, I mentioned that there are buyers that come into town to buy consumer goods. Currently, the way it happens is a buyer may fly into the airport, drive for 45 minutes to various locations, Solon or various locations around the region, kind of go into exit an anonymous exit ramp, enter the back of a warehouse, and sort of plan their product line. We're trying to make it a much more high-end experience, create synergies among companies who are located in the district, and do things like create the District of Design marketplace where maybe these showrooms open up to consumers and you can see new things, buy new things, and companies can do consumer testing. The value of doing this, it places an emphasis on existing strengths. Most of the pieces to do this are already here. We believe that it will foster a design and innovation culture, which isn't just about creating new consumer products. It really is about it's politics, it's medicine, it's anything where we need more innovative thinking. And we believe that this will make Northeast Ohio a talent magnet and establish the region as a region that leads thought in design. And for companies, it results in top-line revenue growth, which companies want to hear. The status of the project, conversations about this project started about a year ago, and we did some groundwork and announced it about 6 months ago. And since in the last 6 months, we've gotten a lot of buy-in from government officials, both city, state, county, and from institutions of higher learning, from businesses and CDCs. We're actually in the process of negotiating real estate, a master lease agreement for multiple property owners, and then understanding what financial incentives might be available to help with build-out costs and rent. And then, and actually several companies have already declared their intent to be there. It really is just a matter of working out the nuts and bolts. And so the basic picture of the project is that we sort of turn some barren streets and that lack any sort of vibrancy and life into basically a commercial district. And hopefully we start, like I said, with the ground level storefronts and then build design studios around it and the support structure needed to support a design industry. And so that's pretty much the presentation. I've probably taken about 20 minutes of my time. Normally I have 40 minutes or so of questions following it, but I don't think I'm going to have that. Questions?
Can you go back a slide?
Sure.
All right, is this on? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Cleveland State student,
Okay.
and I would really like to know, because Cleveland State's about 3 blocks from there,
Mm-hmm.
how you're going to make Cleveland State pretty, because that is the ugliest set of buildings I've ever seen.
It is. One of the reasons why Cleveland State was so interested in this project is that they do see it beautifying the campus. There are plans for the Fine Arts Building, which would be facing Euclid. Ned Hill, who I'm working with at Cleveland State, often refers to that stretch as the best collection of Stalinist architecture in the region. There really is. They're very serious about changing that, and they realize that it's an issue. And again, that's why they were so interested in this. Other questions? Yep.
Okay, I'm from Detroit. I was driving down to Home Depot the other day. I turned on Cleveland Public Radio and caught this thing about the Cleveland Plus initiative. Mm-hmm. Could you talk very briefly about that? Because I have a follow-on question, but I'm a little fuzzy on what exactly. How does Cleveland Plus relate to this design initiative you're talking about?
Honestly, the Cleveland Plus initiative, I think it was announced maybe 2 or 3 days ago. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty